Howdy do. So in today's video, I thought I'd finally address some of the problems I have with Riot Games, since most of the time it's like, oh, you defend Riot Games, but you say you have these criticisms, but then you never actually talk about them. So how about you talk about them for once? And yeah, since I do have a few issues with Riot Game No S, I guess I could take a video and explain them. So sure, why not? Let's do it. First and foremost, their name, just that. It's Riot Game No S. There is no games. It's just one game. Now, see, I think what happened, the confusion here is that the English language is somewhat confusing in itself. See, the S is silent, but for some reason you pronounce it. I don't know why that exactly is. It shouldn't be there. It doesn't exist. Like, I see it in my nightmares because it's something that should be fictitious at best, but it's actually there. No, it actually exists. I don't know how that works, but it's there. Okay, fine. But it's just Riot Game. Secondly, the fact that in their game of League of Legends, despite the fact that they are called Riot Games, every champion in that game has a passive, some of which that tilt me so hard you could rename me Submarine. Like, it should be called League of Legendary because of how many legendary kills some of these champions will get because of these passives. Excuse me, but I think that word has a different meaning than what it's actually doing right now, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm not a fan. I'm allergic. Get that away from me. Third of all, their logo. The fact that it's like, okay, let me put it this way. I can sympathize because I'm a little bit of a germaphobe. Fist bump over like a high five or something. I don't know where your hand's been. That's fine. But the problem is that when I go to give it a fist bump, sometimes I then break whatever it is that I'm giving the fist bump to, screen-wise. Even worse, the logo also breaks whatever screen it is. So now we have two broken screens, and now nobody gets to watch anything. Thanks a lot. I mean, yeah, League of Legends is free. I don't actually have to spend a single dollar on the game if I don't want any of the extra stuff. But since I'm spending all this money replacing screens, it's still costing me an arm and a leg anyway. So I mean, I might as well just get skins. You know, fourth of all, the fact that if passive game was a GPS system, they'd be the kind of GPS system that worked like this. They'd tell you which direction to go, tell you which direction they're going anyway, and then later on apologize with something like, yeah, I guess if you're going north, but you want to go west, you should have turned left. Okay, we got that one wrong. Whoops. Unlucky. Now, probably my fifth problem, one of the bigger ones after all, is they're NA biased. They're so biased against NA. Their headquarters is located in NA. What is up with that? I mean, really? Oh, don't get me started on Worlds and their starting times and how they favored NA for the past 2 years in Korea and Berlin. So yeah, in Season 6, look how selfish they are having Worlds in North America. Excuse them. See, the problem is that passive game would be the type of person to be on like the third floor of Macy's. For those who don't have a Macy's, it's pretty much like the glass level. Like a bunch of glass and stuff that you don't want to touch because something might get broken. And they're the kind of person to touch it and then it will get broken after people said, hey, don't touch this or it might get broken. And then it's actually broken. And afterwards, it's like, oh, well, looks like maybe that was a bad idea to do after they got told several times not to do it. That's the kind of person they are. See, passive game is the type of kid that on the playground would stay away from the sandbox. Passive game is the type of person to throw a house party, like a really expensive house party, mind you. And it's open to the entire community. Anybody can come. You can go through the door for free. But the problem with this house party is that they're greedy because even though the food might be free and just entry might be free, they might want to charge you some extra for like some party mask or something. Draven Day. And that, you know, fiasco. But another problem I actually have with passive game is the fact that they made the song ggGetJinxed. It's a little bit just too darn catchy. And until recently, it was their most viewed video with 47 million views actually and counting. It's 3 million away from 50. But that Imagine Dragons song overtook it at last. But man, I think if you play that song backwards or something, you get some sort of message within like the song, and that's why it's catchy. Like it's some sort of like, you know, mind washing stuff, and it's also some sort of like, hey, by the way, we're here to take all your money and your soul. Play this game, you know, but like on repeat backwards, and that's. But if you play it forwards, it's a ggGetJinxed. So that's how that works. Another one of my problems is summoners, though. Like, you took away summoners. So why, like, it's not even Summoner's Rift anymore. It's just Rift, which is a perfect word to describe my relation and friendships with some people now. So now I'm triggered, and now because you triggered me, I have to write an angry Tumblr post. And it's all your fault. You did this to yourself. I don't know why you would do that. And now I'm gonna get people on my side, and they're gonna believe me that you're just this really ridiculously bad company called Passive Games too. Like, they're not even gonna believe that your real name is your real name by the time I'm done. Because Tumblr, here we go. Another problem that I got is the jungle, the role of the jungle. Because you know that whole saying, you get out what you put in? Well, no. Sometimes you put your jungler in, and then you're never going to see them again. And it used to be because Devour, right? They just passively farm. Maybe they're stacking Devour stacks. No, sometimes they just farm. And all of a sudden, you're all level 3 and level 4. You're looking at, like, Jungle Mundo or Jungle Scion, and they're still trying to kill their raptors for the first time after the leash, and they're still level 1. And this is just, it's not good. We put in a champion that could do stuff, and we're getting out pretty much a ward that dies much easier than wards actually do, because wards now take 5 hits. And my second to last biggest problem with passive games, because I actually have a bunch, but I'm not going to take up too much time, is that you're pretty much a Dota 2 mod. You're just a Dota 2 copy. That's really all you are. It's not like in your infancy, some of the people that worked on you were from Dota All-Stars after all, and as such it was determined that the game was so different and somewhat easier that it should be its own game. Wait, that's actually a thing? That's actually okay, that one you might get a pass on, because apparently that one has some truth to it. Okay. Whoops, my bad. Okay, well then moving on to like my final biggest problem. My biggest final problem, because there's a whole bunch of sub-problems, of course. But my last biggest problem is Baron Nashor. Now, of course, depending on the pronunciation, it varies. But my problem is, it should be Baron Nash them. The Baron doesn't speak English as far as we know, or any language that we understand. It doesn't have the right, or doesn't have the ability to defend itself on what it would like to be called, so calling it Nashor is kind of offensive. I really think, if anything, it should just be like Baron Nash Mayonnaise at best, or at worst even. But that's on you. You guys have to debate that for another time. We already talked about the Tumblr post that I'm going to be writing about you guys, and how terrible that this is, and all my critiques. This is just a really bad company at the end of the day, huh? Yeah. So greedy and stuff with their free game and everything. It's just terrible. But yeah, anyway, that's just a few of the biggest criticisms I have with Riot Games OS. And going forward, I don't know, I might bring up some more stuff as they do some more like shady stuff that they've been doing, of course. But for now, that is all for this video, because I really don't want to even keep talking about them to get this taste out my mouth of saying their name, even their fake name. It's just not, it's not good. It's like burnt pizza on a Friday night. Like, it's just why. But anyway, that's all for this video. I don't know what the next video is going to be, because life is full of a lot of kinks. But until next time, take care. GG, get jinxed.